weekend all. Ira Epstein with your metal market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for Friday. I decided to put this out tonight, 2022, February 18th. And I thought it's smart to do this now because if an invasion happens, I'll come back out and do one big tape that you can all watch to see what happens. But if not, you know that we have President's Day, and I won't be back until Tuesday, so I wanted to give you something to mull over. President Biden this afternoon, after the markets closed, came out, held another press conference, and he said he is convinced that Putin is going to invade. I happen to be of the same school of thought. You don't put 150 to 190,000 troops there and not assume you're not going to invade. What can he get to stop it? That's the big question. You know, the Ukraine can always say that they'll change their constitution, and they will not. And that is the word. They will not then try to be a NATO member. That might appease President Putin. I don't know if the Ukrainian people want to give up that choice. Meanwhile, it's been how many years? And since the breakaways, you don't see NATO letting them in to begin with. So the idea that the U.S. or NATO is going to put their missiles there, that's another thing that Putin can say. I don't want to see that there. But then he's sort of dictating the terms. I don't think he's going to be able to dictate to NATO. That's where I think you're at. The two clashes of forces, they're going to say, I'll protect my sovereignty. You're not going to tell me what NATO's doing if I'm a NATO member. And he's going to say, well, if I can't do that, then you're not going to tell me, and I'm taking this over so that I keep protecting, if that's the premise that this is about, I'm protecting my Russian soil. I think it's more than that. I think it's the grandeur, the old Russian days. You get a $465 billion war chest that he's got now. You've got 190,000 troops. You've got oil prices at his dream price. Europe petrified to cut off the oil and natural gas flow that he provides, and the other commodities, platinum, palladium, wheat market. I can go on and on. So they come out and NATO says, we stand united, but we won't give any forces in the UK or Ukraine. We stand united. If we have to pull back our whatever, we'll do that. We stand united. But if those 150,000 soldiers go in, who's going to mount all that armaments that we sent? That becomes the next issue. So it's a very difficult situation, and one that the markets are roiling on. When you look at the gold market, it has been married. This is a monthly chart, married to the 18-month moving average of closes. This all began before the year 2021. And this is what has frustrated gold traders for a very long period. When you look back on this, you're not sitting up here in this level. You're not down to this level. You just started going sideways, and the Bollinger Bands, the black lines that'll keep a market trading within them 95% of the time, well, they haven't even been hit. Last time you hit them was early 2020. You've just been hanging around that number. When we finally go to the gold on a weekly basis, close-only chart, you got a market that is finally up into the old area here of this 1900 level. If you clear that, I don't see an awful lot to stop it till you get to the 2000 level. When you look at a weekly bar chart, you can see how the market, almost like a saucer in its own way, coming up through here. The market's got a pattern of a lower low, higher high, but it is the highest close we've recently had. The market has fought a pretty big battle between the 100-week average in green, the 18-week average, and look at all that noise as you were back and forth on it there, and you have finally cleared that number. So the Bollinger Band's waiting for it, and you got right over it. Now, each time we've gotten over this market, it has failed. And I know you're going to tell me this time is different. By the way, I'll even show you that one. And it is different. You have the potential for a war and all, but that doesn't change the factor that each time it's gotten over it, whatever reason made the gold get up over all that time frame, it pulls back quickly. So that's what I'm going to still look for. I'm not bearish, but I don't think it's got legs that'll make it run other than the full-scale invasion, something big happening, and you get a pop, but even then within 2-3 weeks, I'd look for it to be back in that number. Do I think the pros are trying to sell it to say it's getting back into it? I wouldn't in the face of 150,000 troops. You could, I wouldn't. So we'll see if it can go there. Momentum up, market over that upper Bollinger Band number. Then we get to the gold-silver ratio, and the base metals are not as that good. Copper's also seeing something strange at the London Metal Exchange. We were seeing a tremendous amount of copper takeoff, and suddenly copper's showing up again there. Somebody's playing a game with that. But in the silver market, you have a lower low, higher high. You're caught in a broad sideways action. This is not an inflation market that is picked up and run anywhere. The copper market, I have told you that my belief is this is going to turn out to be a big base. And I say that because I'm convinced that as we leave the pandemic, the demand for goods is going to be stellar. And as people are able to go out and get whatever they want, automobiles, can you imagine the built-up demand for cars? Because you can't get them. Well, that's going to be there. How much copper goes into that? Homes. It's almost in America, at least. You can name a price for a home. It's going like that. Did you see today's realtor sales numbers? They're crazy. I mean, things are just moving fast. And this is the dead of winter. What's going to happen as we get to spring? And I know people are going to say, but Ira, we're going to get a lot of people that come in and the mortgage money will hit them. A 4% mortgage is not an expensive mortgage on a historical basis. Period. And there's a lot of people buying homes at the upper end. They're doing all cash deals. And there aren't the homes there. You only got 1.6 million homes for sale. So I just look at that part. I look at the industry waiting to get going. People going back to work. People are making money. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong on it, but that's what I'm seeing. In the platinum, do you want to be short any metal that Russia's a major exporter of? I wouldn't. Not right now, but you are coming up to the upper band and you have failed each time you've gotten there. So I think the pros have been long, but I think they're taking money off the table. In the dollar index, you can see how the market has just been holding this number on a fear factor. If it goes up, you know where it can go, right back to that band. It's been there. That is the reason. What hurts the dollar? Getting under 95.16. What in the world would make the dollar want to fall now? So you got to ask yourself that, and if that happens, all of a sudden you've caught the bullishness, and before you know it, you can be back down to this number. So I do think the bulls are in here. I think they've been buying against the 18-week average. It's a risky trade down to 95.16, but it still looks to me good, as though that market wants to pursue some higher levels, and you'll see where it goes. I want to remind you that if you haven't seen what we put together for cash traders, options traders, future spread traders, and the futures markets, you want to look at it. We cover a tremendous amount of this through our emails to you, accessing it through our software, but we cover the energies. We're going to cover the financial markets in detail for you. Chart analysis, fundamental analysis, all these different markets in ways you haven't seen. We have expert writers. These are not part-time guys writing on this. They're brokers, they're writers, they're meteorologists that do this on our staff just for the futures markets. So if you want to see what a lot of our research is about, what our hedgers come to us for, do it. How do you do it? You go to our website, under free offers, pick what you want, take advantage of it. Now, I will see you all this week. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a live webinar. The way the week is coming in, I've got an appointment Thursday right when I normally hold it, and I know that's off the table. It probably won't be this week. It'll be the week after, just the way it's all shaping up. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a great weekend. Good President's Day, and we'll see if we get an invasion or not. Take care.